Hey, welcome back. So in the last video, I opened up quite a bit and gave you some of my background with mental health, but ultimately, I didn't really feel like I was able to capture everything that I wanted to say in that video, which is why I decided to upload a part two. So to get this started off, I wanted to elaborate on the mindset I had during those not so fun periods of my life and compare it to the perspective I have on life today. I notice that nowadays the doomer mentality seems to be a growing issue, and to be honest, that does scare me quite a bit. The ubiquity of things like the black pill has outright fucked over the lives of so many young, impressionable people and convinced them that no matter what, growth isn't possible or that it's pointless. You're always going to be stuck in your miserable corporeal flesh vessel with a net zero chance of becoming anything great in life. In other words, I'm sorry, son, but you won't be getting any bitches. In all seriousness, though, this is a very dangerous mindset to have because oftentimes the rhetoric I see behind this way of thinking is that nothing really matters, and if trying means failure, then you can't fail if you don't try at all. In a way, it's like some sort of fucked up safety net that keeps hurt people from hurting even more. It's comforting in a way, I won't ever have to experience the pain of rejection. But what a lot of these people don't realize, including myself at the time, is that you're literally subjecting yourself to perpetual suffering by not changing the situation that you are in now. You won't take that risk to potentially encounter a lot of inconsistent short term pain in order to reduce a lifetime of consistent pain that you're going to have if nothing changes. Guess what, though? That lifelong pain, even if it hurts a lot less in the moment, is ultimately going to weigh a million more pounds than that short term rejection, where you can at least take solace in the fact that you tried. And that's the important distinction. At the end of the day, putting yourself into new situations is scary as hell, and it seems that a lot of people are oftentimes more comfortable with remaining in abusive situations they're used to. If that means they don't have to leave and venture into the unknown, they're okay with it, even if that unknown could have led them to greener pastures. You see it all the time. I mean, I'm sure we all have that friend who refuses to leave their shitty boyfriend or girlfriend despite being absolutely disrespected at every turn. Despite that, they still continue to stay, irregardless of whether or not they're being treated the way they deserve to be treated. And now, that's the sad part. Those greener pastures are always going to be there, and there will always be a way out, but people often have so little faith in themselves that they give up before they can see the light, and thus push themselves deeper and deeper into that black hole. Another rejection to them is just another painful reminder to yourself that you suck, and eventually your resolve is just vanished once it reaches a certain threshold. I know for myself, my rejection in life was oftentimes relationships. You see, after getting into online dating, I would try incredibly hard to put myself out there just to get ghosted, flaked on, or honestly forgotten about once the next better option rolled around. To say it was disheartening was an understatement. My mind went all over the place. Was I too ugly to date, too vapid for a relationship, or just too unreasonable for wanting something more than just mindless hookups and meaningless sex? It wasn't making sense to me. I tried to take pride in my appearance, have deep conversations, and relate to those I matched with, but it seemed like I was never good enough to commit to, and the dates would always end the same way. Was it a me issue? Sometimes I would get lucky and score a date with somebody who had the same values as me, but in reality, they just lied to try to have another body on their roster. I remember there's this one girl I was talking to for about a month, and I remember I made it very clear early on that I was looking for a one on one long term relationship and that I was vehemently against just hooking up. And so she agreed. She said that she wanted the same exact thing. She stressed that she was extremely confident in her choice and was only talking to me and had already deleted her dating apps and was happy that I felt the same way. Long story short, that was a lie. I remember she screenshotted a photo of me and sent it to her friend group to basically flex, or that's how she put it. And then she showed me the replies, but what I noticed in that screenshot was that she literally forgot to crop out the text that said, "Do you want to see all my other men?" So cue her desperately trying to give a bullshit excuse about how she just sent more photos of me and how there's a running joke in her friend group that she's a whore and she just sent more photos of me to prove them that she was only focused on me this time and was finally settling down. I knew it was bullshit. So I just told her I'd give her the benefit of the doubt since we were supposed to meet up the next day. Yeah, that was a massive L on my part. But anyways, we link up at this movie theater, and I'm immediately not feeling it. I guess I was still turned off from the day prior. But as we're sitting there waiting for the movie to start, she's on her phone showing me pictures of her friends, talking about how shit-faced drunk she plans on getting over the weekend, and how she plans on being a party animal as soon as she leaves for college. Just stupid shallow shit. But before then, she accidentally goes to her home screen where I see the words Tinder bright as day. After realizing that I just saw what the fuck was on her phone, she then proceeds to panic and scrolls past it as quick as she can while Tinder notifications continuously populate her phone. Looking back, it was pretty fucking hilarious, but that was probably one of the longest movies I've had to endure. And the date ended with me giving the probably the most awkward side hug I could muster up when she tried to hold me. But I bring this up because, unfortunately, shit like this is really common from my experience. Whether it's from society normalizing things like hookup culture, fear of commitment, or worst of all, the fear of missing out, where men and women, I should really say boys or girls, continuously pass up perfectly good partners because they view them as commodities rather than the individuals they are, and in turn, they're always on the lookout for the next flashy man or woman to get their attention. And so, because of these factors, how can anybody not have a pessimistic attitude towards the dating scene, let alone life as a whole? Like, do you really need to be in the top 1% just for a chance of finding your lifelong partner? For a while, that's what I thought. I thought that I was destined to be alone because I couldn't force myself into those meaningless, superficial, casual relationships that everyone around me seemed to love. I was destined to be alone because I did not want to get shit faced drunk at house parties every weekend. I was destined to be alone because I didn't want to be a player, or really just have to manipulate women into staying with me. It seemed like my goals were incompatible when compared to those around me. My feelings towards relationships grew worse and worse, and the thought of being betrayed by my partner was always on the forefront of my mind. It was jading, and my hope continued to wane while my trust issues continued to rise. After every failed attempt of trying to find the love I wanted in life, the hurt just continued to build, and it fucking sucked. I wanted so desperately to be that hopeless romantic who thought I would find the love of my life, but it seemed like I was just unreasonable at that point with how things were going. Eventually, I just stopped caring, because all I really had was meaningless matches, failed meetups, and ghostings, or really just a surplus of liars with zero self respect or morals. Was this really what modern dating has come to be? And so this continued for around 2 years. How the hell I managed to endure it all without throwing my phone off a fucking third-story balcony? No idea. But things changed on one December day. I remember I was chilling in my Aimless with my coworker, venting to her about the last fucked up date I just went on. All the while I was getting ready to delete Hinge, a cute little woman decided to shoot her shot and message me. And I don't know why. I really felt different, but I knew I needed to give myself one more chance and at least entertain it. And so I did. It was weird in a way because I genuinely felt like it was easy to talk to her, when previously, with every other match, it was really just me carrying every conversation or getting dry ass replies. This time, no. I wasn't the only one putting in all the work, and she seemed to genuinely give a shit about the things I had to say. Throughout the rest of the shift and into the early hours in the morning, we texted, talking about absolutely everything. I could feel myself getting more and more attached and knew that she was the one I wanted. It was both the biggest relief I've experienced and one of the biggest stressors because I was terrified of how I was going to fuck this one up. Whether or not she would realize that I wasn't the man for her, whether or not I was too broken, or whether or not she would get bored of me just like everyone else. My inner doomer was trying to tell me that I was going to get hurt again. But in that moment, I could not let it win. And maybe I was okay with getting hurt if it meant that I could at least have a chance to prove myself wrong. And so for 6 days, we texted nonstop, where on the seventh, I saw her in person. We ended up going to a small cafe, just like the many others I've been in, but this time it felt more special. Whether it was seeing her tiny 5'2" frame staring up at me with her beautiful deep blue eyes juxtaposed against the bright red blushes across her face, I don't know. What I did know was that I needed her to be mine, and I would hate myself for eternity if I didn't try to get this to work. I could talk forever about how special of a day it was, but to keep it short, fast forward 8 hours after holding her in my arms in the back seat of her car, I slipped up and said the words, I love you, as I stared into her eyes. Thinking I fucked up big time and weirded her out for saying it this early, I sat for a few seconds in silence, hating myself for fucking up another opportunity, until she said those same words back to me. It was on that seventh day, almost 2 years ago, I found the woman I wanted to grow old with. The woman I could see myself spending forever with, and honestly, the woman that made me happy. When I previously almost lost all hope that there was a person out there who would tolerate my shit, stay with me, and be confident in me and push me to be the best person I could be, I somehow found them, despite how much of a doomer I became. Now, going to the perspective I have now on life, what I realized looking back was that if I had indulged my inner doomer and subscribed to the idea that I was unlovable, I would have never met her. I would still be living life without meaning because I decided it hurt less to quit. But the thing is, all those past pains become so fucking worth it when life gives you that opportunity to have the partner you've always wanted. The thing is, the opportunity for that only occurs when you keep pushing through the pain. You have to keep going on despite how hard it is. You have to keep bettering yourself because, in the end, as long as you do those things, that opportunity will show up in one way or another. Modern dating may be dying, but it's not dead yet, and there's still a ton of people who want to create lifelong relationships with you. You just need to find them. I think I was lucky, or at least one lucky dude when I matched with her, when previously during those 2 years before, I thought I was anything but. But I'm under the firm belief that you can make your own luck, and with enough time, luck isn't really luck anymore. It becomes almost a guarantee as long as you keep trying. So please, don't give up. Keep on pushing yourself to be the person you want to be, because I don't want your only guarantee in life being your own sadness. I know you can find those greener pastures, so let's make that scary leap forward in the unknown together, so we can find it. Whether it's shooting your shot with that man or woman you thought was cute, deciding to put yourself out there and upload that YouTube video, or taking that big leap into a new business venture. You've got this, I know you do, and remember, do not let it win.